We are here today at the SEAK National Workers' Compensation and Occupational Medicine Conference, and I'm pleased to be here today with attorney Robert Buzz Minor, a leading labor and employment lawyer. Before we even get started, how did you get the nickname Buzz?
I will be completely candid with you, Steve. My dad was Robert, and when I was little, I was the 2-year-old who would come over to the grandparents and say, "Give us a kiss." And I would, and a Midwesternism for a kiss is bus. And I was known as Little Busser. It became corrupted to Buzz. And when I was in the 5th grade, I had a witch of a principal who asked me my name, and I said Buzz. And she said, once you get to the 6th grade, you can't use it anymore. So despite her, I go by Buzz.
So Buzz, what recent changes has OSHA undergone that a workers' comp, occupational medicine, health professional should be aware of?
Steve, I think that it's more work in progress right now. There are major initiatives on record keeping, special emphasis programs to prevent and eliminate illness and disease, programs that OSHA has modeled from its 1979 Guide to Small Business, management commitment, employee involvement, identification of hazards, and reducing the hazards. For healthcare professionals, in 2012, the healthcare industry and the personal care industry came under, I'll say, scrutiny from OSHA. One of the emphasis programs was looking at the number of injuries within the healthcare profession. And then in 2013, directives were put out by OSHA to help the healthcare industry identify musculoskeletal disorders. So the healthcare industry, it seems to me, as it grows, is under the microscope, both from, or I guess among other things, infectious disease, injury and illness such as cumulative trauma disorder and musculoskeletal disorder, and just generally the emphasis on inspecting the healthcare industry more than it had been before.
So talking about inspections, are employers given notice of an OSHA inspection?
Well, actually, in fact, under all but rare circumstances, there is a criminal penalty if an OSHA compliance officer gives advance notice of an inspection. So, no.
And keeping that in mind, is there anything that the employer should do to get ready for one of these inspections where they don't get any notice?
Absolutely. It's the unwise employer that is not prepared for the OSHA inspection. And that really is the topic of a seminar. But preparing for the OSHA inspection is making certain that you are in compliance with the various obligations that an employer has. It includes training, record keeping. If there are hazards, the hazards are abated. There are any number of compliance issues. And then in addition to the compliance issues, Steve, you have to be prepared for the conduct of the inspection. Who is going to be there? Who is going to present the information to OSHA? Is somebody going to accompany the inspector around? And somebody has to understand the process of the inspection. Must the OSHA inspector allow a management official to be in attendance if he interviews a managerial employee? The answer is yes. May the OSHA inspector interview a rank and file employee in private? Absolutely. Can the OSHA inspector take someone off the line and interfere with production? No. So somebody has to be reasonably conversant with OSHA inspection protocols. The short answer is every employer ought to have a game plan in advance to assure compliance and ensure what they're going to do when the OSHA inspector shows up. Because once the knock is on the door, it's too late.
So last question, what advice would you give to employers on OSHA best practices?
Well, the OSHA best practices are really understanding the nature of OSHA. And that is, OSHA is intended to be a comprehensive regulatory scheme across the country to ensure minimum levels of compliance with occupational safety and health regulations. And so the employer must understand its obligations and also must understand its opportunities. By opportunities, people who go into the business on the Occupational Safety and Health Administration side do so because they believe they're making a difference. And understanding that these are people who care about safety in the workplace and understanding them makes it easier to work with them so that you serve the goal of having a safe and healthful workplace.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.